Next item, please.
Drug prevention model.
Good evening, everyone. What a great segue. Kyle talked about the community being a part of what we're doing, so I have a community of wonderful people. Please join me. Everyone, come on up. I won't stand alone. They are our Power Premier partners, and I know that time is of the essence, and it's Ramadan, and they've been so wonderful. Can we just give them a hand for just hanging in there? Yes. They have families and things. We really appreciate them. Mr. Berry, please come. So maybe about almost 2 years ago, maybe a little bit less than a year, Dr. Maleko came to us and he said that we needed to be proactive and create some type of district-wide model where we could address all of the different issues that we're having with substance abuse. So we knew that we couldn't do it alone, and we also knew that one organization couldn't do it. And all of these organizations had already been working in our community, so it wasn't their first time. So we thought that if we could come together as a coalition and work together with our 21,000 students, 34 schools together, we could make this work. And Kyle, with the community, that really resonated with me because that's really what it takes to get this work done. So today, we're going to just start on this side and go all the way over. Give the name and where you're from.
I'm a social worker in the Dearborn district, and I'm also with SAFE and HYPE. So we do with the Second Chance program. It's an opportunity for individuals to have a second chance at life. And
go to the microphone.
oh, okay. I'm gonna start all over.
Yes, start
Latifa
over.
Seva, I'm a school social worker in the Dearborn district, and I'm also a part of SAFE and HYPE. And we do the Second Chance program, so we're hooked up with the Dearborn court system, giving individuals a second chance after they have been caught and giving them that opportunity. And we do a mentor program. Alexis, you want to come up here? We do it into our schools, and she can elaborate a little bit more about that. But we provide therapy, community forums, family counseling. We go into their homes, so a lot of prevention and intervention.
So my name is Alexis Baer, and I'm the Safe Substance Abuse Coalition Education Outreach Coordinator. So this year so far in 2018-2019 school year, we have served over 4,200 kids and gone to 232 individual classrooms. So our goal when going to the classrooms is to have the students be able to identify what the substances we talk about are and what they look like, to associate the harm with them, and to prevent. So we do talk about peer pressure. We talk about who to report to if they see one of their friends or if they know of someone who is using substances. But yeah, it's been pretty good.
I just wanted to make a quick note. We have helped over 300 individuals in our community that are drug-free now and are back in affiliated into the community and now giving back.
Hello, my name is Nancy Berry. I'm President and Executive Director of C-Assist. It's a nonprofit humanitarian organization that's founded to help the underserved and the uninsured in the community. We launched a mental health and substance abuse campaign back in 2016, and we took the curriculum and we took the activities to the school district. We trained over 1,500 students, counselors, anybody that got in contact with the students last year as of 2018, and 90 sessions of mental health and substance abuse through an evidence-based curriculum adapted from the National Institute of Health. We provided presentations through counselors, most of them are master's level, therapists that were hired by the C-Assist team to be on the school premises to conduct the trainings and to conduct the mental health classes. As of this year, we focused on suicide prevention. Through an evidence-based curriculum, again, it's referred to as QPR, question, persuade, and refer. That's adopted by the QPR Institute. Again, everybody that introduced or that provided the training had to be certified by the QPR Institute. Myself and the co-founder are both instructors, but we chose to have the trainings conducted by therapists. So as of this year, we did the trainings across the district for seniors only. Right around, I would say, 1,600 students were trained, along with counselors again, and anybody, PTAs, we did multiple PTAs this year. Last year, we did about 5 or 6 of them. with training the bus drivers, the principals, assistant principals, and everybody that got in contact with the students. That's it. Thank you.
My name is Fawad Berry. We're together. I'm here for support.
Hi, my name is Miriam. I'm from Access. I'm a SUD therapist, and I work with ASAP as well, which is a coalition for access. Basically, we do similar things that they do. We go to the schools. We work with Dearborn High School. We've educated over 1,000 students there, and what I'm working on is just working with the parents on sorry, I'm still fasting, so just working with the parents and trying to engage them in getting treatment for if they're having trouble with their kids, or right now I have 5 on my caseload that are 16, so hopefully we can get more. Thank you.
We have 2 Miriams.
Hello, I'm Miriam. I'm from LAHC. We stand for Leaders Advancing and Helping Communities. We're also a nonprofit community organization. We've been around for 30 years. I manage a substance abuse prevention program, but I'm also a prevention specialist. We do the same exact thing that our community partners do. So before this partnership started with Dearborn Public Schools, our substance abuse prevention program has been actually serving a lot of the schools in Dearborn, such as Fordson, Etzel High School, and other schools as well. We follow evidence-based programming. It's a 10-week program. So we see the students once a week for a period of 10 weeks for an hour long during their physical education or health unit classes. So we're not taking any time away from their major core classes. And then we're part of the partnership with Dearborn Public Schools. We're very excited about that. So we also go directly in the classroom and we service the students for an hour session. And we also see the parents as well. We follow evidence-based programming. And I'm pretty sure the rest of the community partners do the same thing as well. All of our services are bilingual and culturally sensitive. And all of our staff, they're certified to do prevention work and substance abuse. In addition to that, LAHC has been in 19th District Court probation juvenile diversion program. We also do our Botman Life Skills program. It's a special transitions version. And so all of the juveniles on probation, anybody under 17, is court mandated to take our life skills program, and it's been a success. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I just forgot to mention that we do have a free health clinic that we see anybody that does not have access to care, and we do have mental health services too. We have a psychiatrist that sees everyone that needs help. He's on site maybe once or twice a month, sometimes more if needed. So any of the students that don't have coverage from that aspect, they're more than welcome to visit our clinic and to receive the services as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. So what we've done, we've looked at all of the partners, and we had to come up with a way to, of course, have some structure. So as you can see, each of the partners have certain schools that they service, and they're there for 3 reasons. Basically, it's either for parent education, or they're there to be visible. So if they have teacher conferences or school events, they're there to pass out resources. And also, the most important part is to have that one face-to-face instructional experience. So it may be more than one, but if we can at least address our grades 3 through 12 at least one time, that will help with the drug testing. So we're planting the seeds with that educational piece, so that if they are tested, hopefully through that education, it will not show that they're using drugs. Rola?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Rola Bazigais. I'm proud to say here, working together as a team with our community organization and Dearborn Public School, working as a team to, provide prevention and education and awareness to our students and parents is very important and critical, especially in this topic about substance abuse prevention, suicide prevention, and alcohol. So in year 2, what we're doing in terms of highlights and progress, the health presenters and educators are providing evidence-based curriculum to our students. Also, what we see as one of the progress is students are speaking up. If there's any issue or they hear anything, they speak up, they talk about it, they discuss it with the counselors, they discuss it with their parents. So we see more open about this subject and topic, which is sensitive. And also, that's what we want. We want the stigma, to break the stigma and the silence, and people to speak up about this topic and bring awareness and education to everybody. Because that's the main thing, honestly, knowledge and education is power. So what's next for us as a district and community organization? We want to expand our partnership for the fall 2019 with another organization. It's called Heal, Move, and Shift. And we want to reach to more students and talk to them and educate them, bring awareness in timely manner. Also, we want to continue to research, implement a strategy to combat the issue about vaping. As you know, it's an issue everywhere. Also, we want to continue our monthly meetings. As Dearborn Public School, we meet with our agency once a month, and we talk and we discuss about the progress and what's going on in schools. And also, we want to improve our data collection process. The more we do this, the more we communicate and bring together and work together as a team, the better it is for our community and our students. Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Barry.
I don't know if I have questions, just have some comments. With the community partnerships, we always talk about it takes a village. Yes, it does take a village. With HYPE, they've been around for 20 years. LAHC, 30 years. Access, been around forever, 40-plus years. Our newest partner, C-Assist, I know they're new to the game, but for the last few years, I've attended many forums. I think everybody in Dearborn knows that my daughter Zainab graduated last week. I guess I'm a proud father, but she always wanted to be a nurse. When she started volunteering at some of the forums that C-Assist had, she decided to switch over to social work, and that was her motivating. So C-Assist, I know I've attended a lot of forums that Haji Nancy ran with the PTA. When you walk into one of these free clinics, you think you're walking into a hospital or something. All the equipment there, people in line to sign in. So, quick story about SAFE. A young man that grew up, much younger than I am, grew up down the street from me. His parents split up, and we know how that goes. He decided to go that route. He was self-medicating. Tried everything you can think of. I tried to help. Other people in the community tried to help. It just didn't work. And I followed him. He was, camps down south. He was camps in California. Nothing would work. But the last fundraising dinner was a very, very joyous event for me. You would see that man standing up straight. You can tell he was clean, tie on. I've seen him about 6 times since then. And I'm very proud of what SAFE and HYPE is doing. I'm very proud of what all of our partners are doing. So thank you. Thank you for what you do. This is a great partnership. Thank you.
Well, we know that the community has been asking to make sure what are we doing in the schools, because they are recognizing that the problem isn't going away, it's only growing. So we really appreciate having something put together that is comprehensive. Appreciate it. Trustee Moses?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Trustee Barry mentioned, that we are blessed that our community is stepping up, and every time an unfortunate situation happens when somebody takes their own life or somebody overdoses, it's a loss for all of us. So I thank you so much for saving lives and for preventing this huge problem, national problem that all the schools nationwide are facing, and we're in it together. So thank you so much for your partnership and for your dedication, and we truly appreciate that.
Trustee Lane, did you hit? Okay. Trustee McDonald?
That was exactly what I was going to say, what Trustee Moses just said. And I'm very pleased. Thank you all for the work you do. It's God's work and it's important, and thank you. I especially appreciate the suicide prevention component, because not so many years ago, it was just a taboo. We don't want to talk about it. And it is so important, because a lot of our students and community members struggle with depression and struggle with those thoughts. So to have someone that they can reach out to and get some help instead of being told it's not a problem, I think that's huge. So thank you for the work you do.
If I could just comment too, to Ms. Charles and Dr. Bazzy Gates, thank you for your leadership. It was about 2.5 years ago we came together. They do great work with all the partners. It's really been fantastic. And in fact, our administrators have been trained as well. We had the session that we went to the mosque and we had some training. So I know we're going to continue with it. So it's very important to us. So thank you, and thank you for the leadership moving forward and all of you.
See, but with Deneen and Dr. Gates, that's just a given.
I wanted to note that on June 13, we do have a training for NORCON at Hype, and it's open to the public for whoever would like to join.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
NSBA Annual Conference Report.
All right, so this is a requirement in the, I believe in the policy as well. We've had board members that attended, and this was a picture outside of Constitution Hall. It was the last day when we were getting on our flight back, and we all went in, and it was a great experience. I think, Dr. Mead, you said make sure you go there, and we did. So that was after the 3 days of, for some of us 2.5, for some 3.5 days of conference. So it's just such a valuable, the National School Board Association Conference. I know I was encouraged to go a couple of years ago, I'm very grateful. This has been my third one, and I think it's just so important. I appreciate the support of the board because learning is just so critical, to us to have a national perspective. It is the largest conference in education I've ever been to. It is a huge conference, huge amount of resources. It's aligned with our, our vision and mission. We did bring the sign there too. We had it, right, David? I'm not going to go into the correlation of the strategic plan, but I did list them there, and you see in board briefs, you see that happening and happening more frequently. I always have the section of mine, but this is aligned with the learning in our strategic plan and what we're doing, and all of you and your learning. I know it's so important. There were keynote presentations that were given. There's always a highlight. There's one given every day. And then there was also educational improvement. So here's the thing. Last year, some of us went to the one, last year, I think Trustee Berry, myself, Trustee Thorpe, and Trustee Nasser were there last year. And then there was encouragement to put in for the Magna Award. And then we said, okay, well, look at the great things that are going on in Dearborn, which are being recognized all over the state. And why are we being recognized? Well, we're helping our students. That's the bottom line. And so when you go in these conferences, you build capacity when you're presenting. So we put in 3 proposals, and it has to be approved by the state association. Well, the state recommended it up to the national, and we got all 3. So we had 3 presentations, so we were very excited, yes.
That's good.
Here's the one. The first one was on the graduation intervention, and Trustee Lane was part of the presentation, Ms. Peterson. And this one has also been presented at the National Superintendent Conference. And then there's other conferences that it's also been used at, and I think even with the county we mentioned it. Oh, and at the State School Board Association, the Michigan Department of Education, we also talked about it there. The second one was on social media, and I know Trustee Thorpe was part of that, along with David Musson, and yes, we did have the sign there. And that one was busy on a Monday morning, and all of these presentations, we've gotten feedback, emails from other people from across the state, or from outside the state, across the nation, I should say. And then the last one was on our school improvement process with Ms. Farage and President Petlichkoff. And again, we've had some conference calls from different people, trying to sharing our knowledge. And so I just wanted to kind of quickly go over and set the stage that we were very excited that we had the 3. I would ask if the board wants me to. I know you all got the email. I would be putting in maybe for 1 or 2 for next year. Again, I didn't expect to get 3. I was thinking, okay, maybe we'll get 1 or 2. We put in 3, and we got all 3. So they just were looking at us as, leaders in the field. And so, as I mentioned, we've had other people contact us since then. And the only other thing I want to mention is I did a school visit, and our Academies model is expanding. The Ford NGL partnership, Next Generation Learning, I'm seeing that now expanding broad nationally. So when you say, well, what are the trends? Well, these are some of the reasons we want to go to these national conferences and sharing the knowledge. And so not only going to Nashville with some of the teams, but we're seeing this spread out across the nation as the next way when we go into the academy. So Fordson's leading the way, but then we have the other 2 high schools that are jumping on it. So I got to see different models and how it's being used in Philadelphia. And then other things like the English language learning model and intervention model. So I'll just kind of open it up if anybody else wants to comment, because I know board trustees were there. The executives, we just said that I would, mention, just because of the time and whatnot, because several of us went, but I'd kind of open it up for anyone. I don't know if any of the trustees would like to comment. Oh, and trustee McDonald did have a few slides as well.
Yeah, I've got a couple things that I just wanted to mention. Since I wasn't involved in any of the presentations, I was going to attend sessions. And being off the board for a couple of years, my main objective for attending the conference were to once again be informed about current trends in education and governance, and also get accustomed to thinking in those terms. I had two main focus areas that I was interested in, governance and school safety. The sessions I took are listed, and I don't know if that's the next slide. The sections I took are listed, and I'm going to share a few things starting with the governance sessions that I took. Good governance means no surprises, and a lot of these we are aware of, but it's always good to have a fresher course. Good governance means no surprises, you keep others informed. This I thought was interesting. Disagreements is not dysfunction and results in better decision making, but keep in mind disagreements before a vote builds community confidence. Disagreements after a vote erodes community confidence. I thought that was interesting and true. Again, these are things that we just need to revisit now and again. Common misdeeds of individual board members are advancing a personal agenda instead of a district's agenda, board and superintendent role confusion, not participating in professional development, being unprepared for meetings, speaking negatively about staff or of students or administrators or other board members or the district in general in public, contributing to board discord or disarray, and some individual, I cut out part of this because we're running long on time. So you want to change those from negatives to positives, and how you do that is by having a collaborative attitude, open dialogue, good relationships with the superintendent and the community, looking up and out instead of down and in. And what that is just seeing the big picture and long-range thinking, and focus on important issues, the what rather than the how. So those are things to keep in mind. And again, we only have power as a collective body. I also, like I said, looked to some safety courses or safety sessions, and safety is all-encompassing. It doesn't just pertain to the environment of a building. So it includes things like student health and nutrition, student safety and student and staff, physical and emotional well-being. And we've talked tonight about drug testing and prevention of suicide and things like that. Financial stability is also involved. So basically, every aspect of our district has a safety component. Some of the takeaways pertaining to governance is creating a board governance committee, which I thought was very interesting because we have an evaluation committee, and we have all the time that I've been involved in a board, and this kind of takes it to the next level. So I thought it was interesting. This governance committee, some of the responsibilities would be, of course, to evaluate the superintendent, but also to conduct an annual board assessment, self-assessment, to organize ongoing professional development for the board, to adopt a board code of conduct, to create board member orientation, and to actively solicit future board members. I'm not saying all those would be, but it's things to think about. So a governance committee instead of just an evaluation committee, I thought was an intriguing idea. 5 standards to always keep in mind is responsible governance, high expectations for our students, create conditions district-wide for student and staff success, holding the district responsible for student success, and community engagement. You always want to engage your community, and I think we do a really good job about it, but a lot of districts engage their community when they're ready for a bond or a levy. So I think we do that well. Some of the takeaways pertaining to safety is continuing to plan and assess safety issues, be mindful of legalities, federal and state laws pertaining to school and student safety, student discipline and due process, many of the new innovations being developed in the area of safety, I thought this was interesting too, use AI, artificial intelligence. And there was one such coming down the pipeline that I had seen. There's a mobile scanning device that detects facial and weapons capability, that it has the capabilities of detecting facial recognition and weapons recognition. And I thought that was very interesting. I have a couple of shareables if anyone's interested, including the administration, board members. I have dozens of case studies that I got from one of the class, and they were legal cases. Some of them were really interesting, but they were pertaining to school and student safety, different scenarios that are kind of unusual. So if anybody's interested, I could forward you some of those. And I also brought a book with me. It's sitting over there, but it is a book. Excuse me 1 second. This was kind of interesting, so if anyone wants to borrow it, it was one of our presenters was Zach Rance, and he basically has David's job, but in Joplin, Missouri. And if anyone remembers Joplin, Missouri, in 2011, they were hit with an F5 a tornado. And it really ravaged their school district. So he wrote this book, Hindsight, and it's lessons learned from Joplin tornado and other crisis events. So it's interesting if anybody wants to borrow that. I'm welcome to share as well. Thank you.
Would any of the other board members who attended want to share anything?
Not about any specific presentation due to time, but what I
Right.
will say is that we made an effort to make sure that we were all talking a few times each day to make sure that we were broadly spread out and not all attending the same session. And for me, when I went to a few of the sessions and I was listening to the different presenters talk, I was looking back and reflecting as to what we've got going here and realizing that we've got it pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
Compared to a lot of the other districts, some of the other states and what they're going through at an education level. It's good to get that evidence that we're doing a lot of things right.
Trustee Lane?
Yeah, I have a couple of slides on there. David could click through them quickly. I don't need to make comments on most of them because the night grows late and the audience
Right.
grows thin. So I would just say that it was really useful. I tried to attend sessions that would apply to the P12 and the college, particularly safety issues. So these are some of the sessions I attended. And Life Ready Graduate was one that was particularly interesting to me. They have a special certificate, as we have our bilingual seal, public inquiry process. So this was nice to find out what other districts had to do to get their public involved to make sure that they avoided legal issues. Then there were other ones on democracy, on good governance threats, assessing threats. So those were all important things. And the one takeaway that I got that I thought was particularly interesting is the suggestion that board members follow a student for a day. Unfortunately, our Student Advisory Council's members are gone, but a lot of us haven't been in high school for a while, so I was intrigued with that possibility. They also gave us some movies to watch, and those are on there for anyone that's interested. But it was very useful, so.
Okay, and I will just real quickly say, because we are running very late, which is why I deigned to not have any slides either, because I knew this was going to be a long evening. This was my very first conference I ever went to, even though I've been on the board since 2008 and have never attended in the past. I will say two things. One, I thought the presentations we gave were very well done, and I think that having the pairing of the three different bodies, the superintendent, a board member, and an expert in that particular topic was important, because when question time came around, each of those individuals was able to give an answer that was comprehensive. And it was able to, I sat in on many other sessions, just like everyone else, when it wasn't our turn to share. And some of them left me a little bit disappointed. Some of them reaffirmed that what we were doing, we were already ahead of the game. And the things that I shared with them, they were all interested in more so than what they were talking about, quite frankly, and wanted me to send them some of our information. And, but saying that, you know, the one thing, takeaway I came with was that we came prepared with answers for the questions that came to us, which is why people were interested in what we were doing. But I also learned that I had to be better at choosing the sessions I selected. Most of them were relegated to governance, seeing as I'm sitting in this seat this year. So I wanted to make sure, and I did come away with a couple of suggestions that I will bring forward at later on in the board, and one of them was about self-evaluation as well. Yes.
Yeah, your point, President Petchikoff, is, I think, accurate. I think we were really, we were a leader district there, but it was useful to talk to other districts. I hope to be able to stop and visit one that's doing a radical redesign. But the other thing that was particularly useful for me is since I was presenting with Ms. Peterson and Dr. Malenko on the grad intervention specialists, I spent quite a few hours with the intervention specialists interviewing them at the high schools. They had some questions that they had me ask and things to watch out for at the conference, but I certainly learned a lot more about my own district in meeting with them and seeing their day-to-day life. So I really should thank them for giving me the time and their insights.
That's great. Dr.
I'd just like to commend board members for attending the conference. I think it's a knowledge expander. And I particularly like to commend the presenters, because you guys are working full-time jobs. And yet when you make presentations like that, you expand the knowledge of people across the country, and you share with other people with their knowledge. So I'm just commend you all. That's hard work to make those presentations. You have to really work at it. And you have to know what you're talking about, and you have to be implementing it. So you guys are doing a great job.
If I could just say thank you, and I could just say too, I appreciate the board members. It's on the weekend, it's, you know, you're away from your families. And I know some board members didn't come this time, they went other times, and so that you're dedicated to the knowledge of and bettering yourself as a board member, and that's kind of why we're, you know, so I appreciate this, you know, the support that way and the encouragement for me to submit these proposals and other things. And I think you said, Jim, and it came across, so we have about another month, I think, to get for next year's if we want to put in a couple potentially. So if that's, but we always need a board member too, and that's part of the whole key, is they want it from a board perspective. So appreciate the trustees who co-presented as well. I think that was so critical. And the other thing we did is we made sure that the trustee led the start of the session, because it was mainly, you know, there were superintendents there and other administrators, but, you know, the big audience was school board members.
Real quick, one other thing that, one of my sessions was led by a gentleman who, on the national level, is involved in school resource officers. And he had some really interesting things to say. And it got me to thinking, I realized how valuable our SROs are and what they do for our students. They build a great climate for their individual buildings and build relationships. I think that's invaluable. So I had mentioned to Superintendent Malenko that I would eventually, and it may be a little ways down the road, I would like to have a presentation of our school resource officers to come and tell us what they do and what their day's like and the interactions that they make. I think that would be good for us to have a better understanding of that.
Just one more specific commendation to our superintendent for providing the leadership for this, because you're the one that helps your own staff to think about doing research and to expand the knowledge of education and how are we going to put our students first. Thank you.
Thank you.
Were you ready to step up?
I was just going to say what Dr. Mead said. I wanted to thank our superintendent for allowing all of us on the administrative team. He's always a team player, and for allowing us to be part of these presentations. and expanding our capacities this way. As unique of a district that we are not that unique. And you find that out when you go to these conferences. You find out how unique we are, and then you find out that we're really not that unique. We have the same problems, we face the same issues as districts not only across our state, but across our country. And maybe it's on a little bit smaller scale, or sometimes it's on a little bit bigger scale. And I think that sometimes if we are too parochial in our vision, then we really don't see the forest through the trees.
Yep.
And by attending these conferences, whether it be on just a county level, a state level, or on a national level, it allows all of us as administrators, as superintendent, and as board members to really get that better perspective about where we are as a district, where we need to improve, and where we need to say, hey, we're doing a pretty good job too, and pat ourselves on the back. But again, I just want to thank the board for supporting those efforts, and I want to thank Superintendent Maleko for supporting all of us in being part of this team and leading this district.
Well said.
I always thought we were such a huge district, but there's districts across the country that have 100,000 students. So you do learn a lot about that.
I want to, okay, real, because we're going to have to,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
almost
gonna
10
do.
o'clock.
That's what I'm gonna do for us.
Oh.
Yeah. I offer a motion to extend the meeting
Oh,
15
very
minutes.
good, thank you.
Support?
Reading your mind.
We need a roll call, please.
Trustee Mead,
Yes.
Trustee McDonald,
Yes?
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Moses,
Yes.
Trustee Lane,
Yes.
yes, and Chair Pelichkov.
Yes. All right, now we'll try to kind of speed along.
Yeah, I think
Thank
Action
you very
items.
much.
Yeah, thanks.
Are there any agenda items on the agenda which board members of the superintendent wish to discuss and vote on separately? If they are, we'll exclude them from the motion below. We are going to have item 21 as a separate vote. Any others?
All right, then.
Move that action items numbered 1 through 28, excluding 21, be approved as recommended in the agenda with, be approved as recommended in the agenda.
So move.
Support? Oh, go ahead. Who's saying? That's him.
Oh, who, just pick one.
Tie goes with the runner.
Who said support?
Who said?
Oh, both, okay, sign. Yes.
I have a couple
Trustee
comments
Barry.
and a question since the motion's on the table. For action item number 2, I am very, very happy and satisfied with, with our leadership did with this. I mean, we weren't in a good place a few months ago, but thank you, Dr. Maleko.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, and your team for doing great work on this. The other item, number 7, I have a question. Advanced organization. I see the contract here. Does that also cover when the organization comes and spends those 3 or 4 days in our district? I know it's a
I don't
$12,000.
think so,
I think
yeah.
it's separate. This is just the membership. Ms. Farage, the fees for advanced ed, it's a separate when they come in, when the committee came in last
Right.
year. The fee is separate, right, for that? Do you recall? Tom saying yes?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay, good. I just wanted to. And the other thing, thank you. Dearborn High, traffic flow improvement. I was talking to a couple of my colleagues and say, I challenge you to adopt a student at Dearborn High and drop them off at school and pick them up after school. I actually had that discussion because it's crazy. I know the last couple of years has been like 1,000% improvement after school. But it gets hectic. Sometimes, the kids get out, the students get out at 2:15. There's some parents there like at 1:30 positioning themselves to pick up the
Before
students.
that, I've seen them.
I get there at 1:40. I get there like about 2 o'clock. It's pretty good getting out right on time, and we just sneak out the back from the tennis courts and we get out. If we don't make it out and the buses start moving, you're stuck there, and people just get crazy. So Dearborn High parents, you should welcome this. Because I'll tell you what, if we do get stuck in the parking lot and we're there past 2:30, when the students start driving out of those parking lots, that gets pretty crazy.
Fordson's pretty tough, too.
What's that?
I know.
They're all
Yeah, they're all-
difficult.
they're all, I
They're all
mean-
difficult.
Yeah, but I think this is gonna be a huge improvement at Dearborn High.
And that aspect is helping the traffic flow. We also met with the Commissioner, Sam Baydoun, because the county controls the pedestrian crossings. So we're also studying that, and you probably saw in some of Tom's briefs, we're
Sure.
trying to work with the city and the county, because we can't do that on our own. Now, we can do this on our own, but more improvements are coming. So we still feel like we have some issues with the pedestrian crossing, but that will take a little more time because we're working with the county. But Commissioner Baydoun has helped us to expedite that by getting the engineer from the county and other people involved.
Yeah, you know what, I'm thankful for what Commissioner Baydoun did, but if he can solve the problems at Fort End, then we're really.
Yeah. And I know people usually say, get away from the traffic. I've actually deliberately, during dismissals, I've driven in on purpose just so I get a feel around some of the schools, so I understand what's going on.
Trustee Lane?
I know I'm holding up Trustee Thorpe from reading these, but I would like to also comment that number 22 and number 23 are very important. It's been magical thinking on the part of some people to think that they can get something for nothing, and that we could just cut fat out of education and not pay. So we've ended up now as school funding at the bottom of the barrel, absolute bottom of the barrel for over several years. If we want to develop an educated workforce, that requires paying for an educated workforce. And there are a multitude of things that we need to pay for. So we need to know what is the true cost of education. So I think number 22 and number 23 are important so we can be realistic about funding education.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I know it's late, but can I just comment that those were partnerships that the union heads brought to us and Wayne County RESA. So that everyone's coming together, both the DFSE and the DFT both brought these to me, and also Wayne County. So.
I'd like to mention something in addition to what Trustee Lane mentioned, that actually average citizens can also influence legislatures right now who are contemplating on the percentage that they're going to give the districts and also colleges, public colleges. So I ask every citizen to reach out. I know our representatives here, both the Representative Hammoud and Senator Santana, have been very supportive to our districts, but reach out to the rest and ask them. I have personally to consider the governor's proposal to support our schools. So I encourage every citizen to do the same. So that would really help a lot, especially that they're going with the budget right now. And if we have an educated society, everybody agrees that we gonna have a great society.
All right, we have a motion and support. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, attach a unanimous roll. Now back to 21. Oh, wait, you have to read the, sorry.
Summary of action
Read
items.
fast.
Approval of warrants, approval of a contract with Southwest Food Service Excellence, approval of a contract to increase to Deborah Hauser PT4 Fund LLC, approval of contract increase to Dearborn Speech and Sensory Center, approval of an award to Presidio Holdings, approval of an award to NASCO, approval of an award to Advance Ed, approval award to Presidio Holdings, approval of an award to Chitter Chatter PC, approval of an award to Data Image Systems, approval of contract increase to Solient Health, approval of a contract to Best Asphalt, approval of non-instructional and instructional personnel items for P12, approval of financial statement, approval of the annual cooperative agreement with Wayne Westland Community Schools, approval of 2019-2020 Wayne RESA General Fund operating budget, 21 approval of resolution of school of choice, jumping then to approval of resolution in support of adequately funding Michigan schools, approval of resolution to support school finance research collaborative, approval of contract extension for the non-classified, non-instructional staff and exempt administrative secretaries, approval of contract extension for the exempt administrators, approval of policy updates per board report 18-137, approval of non-renewal of probationary teacher contracts, and approval of donations.
All right.
Good job.
Now
It's
back
been
to
busy.
21. Or
22.
mine's
21.
21.
Oh, I'm sorry,
21.
okay.
Yes,
Oh,
yours
okay,
is,
thank you, sorry.
Jim.
Yeah, sorry, my numbers were off. Am I reading the whole thing right now then?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Approval of designation of Wayne Risa election representative.
Just do the recommended action.
Move that the Dearborn Board of Education designates
Blank.
as a representative and blank as an alternate in the event of a designated representative unable to attend. It is further directed to cast a vote on behalf of the board for candidates blank and blank.
All right.
Moved by,
Well, now
Sorry,
we, now
I'm
we
in-
do the fun part.
Does anybody volunteer for that?
We throw, yes, and we throw name, well, here's some background. You all received, the candidates, and they were, there's 2 positions, and there's only 2 names.
Right,
So it's
they're already in.
a given, but we have to go through the, process. So we have to name a designee if they were to so choose to attend the June 3rd meeting to cast their vote, but it's an uncontested spot because the incumbents are the only ones who applied. So would somebody like to volunteer their name to fill in? Dr. Mead will fill in
I'll
as
be
its
the alternative,
and trustee McDonald as a
alternate.
alternate. And the candidates are Mr. James Barry and Linda Jackson. And if you need to know how to spell their names, I got them here. Now, we need to move it.
So moved?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Very good. Next item, please.
we have no discussion items listed. Board of Education business, acknowledgement of correspondence.
I think we had a couple pieces of mail here from before.
I have one. Student sent me, thank you for attending the Leadership Day. And we have 2 students from Whitmore, but we have the Leader in Me program at Lindbergh and Whitmore, and they were both, let's see, they've been awarded a national lighthouse status, which is the highest status through the Covey model, so they've been leaders. So congratulations to them, and I know David's gonna have some information. I know the communities there are very excited, so just thought we'd mention that.
Next item, please.
Very quick.
Oh,
If we
trustee.
can, moving forward, if, at least for me, if we have anything on mail, give me a call or an email or something. There's and you do the important stuff, yeah, but there's a couple invites here for things that happened way back, so. I'm always in the area, so I'm willing to stop by.
Board member committee and organization reports.
Trustee Lane?
Quickly, the Finance Committee met and discussed the Infrastructure Committee, which was already presented, so I won't go over that. That's already been mentioned. We're waiting on purchase of the property next to Hague School. A safety and security bid has been postponed, so that will be rebidded because there was only one bid. The budget for next year is looking somewhat difficult. The House has returned something that was less than was hoped for, so the budget is being constructed conservatively by Mr. Wall. And our numbers, as already mentioned also by Mr. Wall, look like they're down. So the decision that we made on some of our prior discussions as to increases in population were probably well advised. Finally, we were updated on cell phone towers. Everybody likes our property all over the city. But there is a proposal out to put some cell phone towers on smokestacks at school. So we need to consider as a board whether we would be willing to do that on an elementary building. So we have a couple of proposals. So that was the Finance Committee that met. So I would ask people to consider that and think about it for the future. Maybe you want to have a discussion on that, President Petchikoff.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, because we know that can always bring up a lot of questions. Trustee Thorpe?
The board had a meeting before this regarding the evaluation of the superintendent, and through that, we have given the superintendent a rating of highly effective for this year.
Means we'll let them stay another year.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate the great partnership that we've developed between the board and my administration, so thank you so much.
You've worked
Belongs to
hard
all of
for
You
it.
have worked hard.
Any other committee reports? I don't think any other committees have met. Okay.
Board member and superintendent commentary.
I just have one I want to mention. We have the Southwest Food Service that we just approved. The team, I believe, is here. Mr. Wall said the president, I think, and so welcome. Yeah. So.
Thank you for staying.
Yeah, they are troopers.
Now you know why we need to
Thank you,
feed everybody. Trustee Barry?
I know it was mentioned numerous of times earlier that we're a leader district. We're also a district that creates leaders. I know in the past, we've had two former superintendents rise to the state superintendent's position. Our former superintendent and our current one were, superintendent of the year statewide. I know at least 6 or 7 people that, are administrators in other districts, that are Dearborn products. And I'd like to congratulate 3 candidates. I'm not going to mention names. I don't know if I can or I can't, even though it's public, but I won't mention names. But 3 candidates that are Dearborn products are up for the top position as superintendent. In one district, the 2 top candidates, one former employee, one current employee, are the 2 top candidates for superintendent within the district. So there will be a superintendent that's a former Dearborn product. So I'd like to wish all 3 of them the best, and it just, you know what, it makes us look very good. So congratulations to all 3 of them.
Trustee Lane?
I just caught the people from Southwest because I did want to make a comment in regards to the, and I even brought a
containers.
show and tell. So we have been using styrofoam containers, but there are now available recyclable containers, and there are compostable containers. This one is from a local restaurant, and many, many places are now switching from styrofoam, which doesn't break down for about 500 years, to this one, which says on the top, certified compostable plant fiber, turns into soil in 90 days. We need to be doing this. We are leaders, so I ask that we start doing this. The gentleman just told me that our district can ask for recyclable styrofoam or compostable. So I would ask everyone to consider using compostable food service items in the future. So that I wanted to mention for your consideration. And then I would just like to say that we're coming up to the best season of the year, the best day of the year, graduation day. And I want to extend my sincere and very heartfelt congratulations to all of the seniors that'll be graduating, leaving us behind and going on to greater things. But I will enjoy seeing, at least at 2 of the graduations, my colleagues and so many happy families and students.
Trustee, we need to extend.
the meeting.
Motion to extend the meeting another 15 minutes?
Second?
Roll call.
Trustee Mead.
Yes.
Trustee
Yes.
McDonald. Trustee
Yes.
Barry. Trustee Moses.
Yes.
Trustee
Yes.
Lane. Trustee Thorpe, yes. Chair Petlicoff.
No, yes.
Motion still carried.
Majority rule.
Orders a no.
Yes. Okay, Trustee Moses.
I'd like to share some sad news. Trustee McDonald and I lost a great mutual friend, Mr. Daryl Donakowski, last month, and I'd say that the entire community of Dearborn lost a great man who strived for unity, social justice, and religious tolerance. And I just knew Daryl for only about a year, and conversing with him over social networks and also in person made it seem like I knew him for a long time. He worked for the University of Michigan directing the American National Election Studies, and he had a presentation at the League of Women Voters where I met him. So he was a community activist as well. He dreamed of uniting our city and strived for social and environmental justice. He was a great advocate of our schools and Henry Ford College, and his family has established a memorial scholarship for him at the University of Michigan in Dearborn. We will continue to celebrate his legacy, and we will forever miss him.
Another one of the great leaders that we've lost recently.
And I'd just like to remind everyone that the City Beautiful parades have started, and if you see a troop of children marching down the middle of your street, please take the time to step outside and give them a wave. They really enjoy the attention, and they take a lot of effort to promote Clean Up, Fix Up, Plant Up, Paint Up month, which is the month of May. And everybody get out there and do your part, and hopefully the weather will improve, just as Trustee Lane wishes. Today was a little brisk, but we know the warm weather will come eventually, and then we'll be complaining about that. And we also know that Ramadan has started this month, so I'd like to wish everybody a blessed Ramadan as well. Thank you.
Requests for information and/or future agenda items.
I think,
I'm sorry.
Trustee Moses, you know, we are all
I'm sorry, we're too tired. I'll make it very brief. I know this has been discussed a lot, you know, testing, and there was a presentation which I was actually on the other side attending. But I'd like to know, Dr. Mileko, for a next meeting, if we can get the times that our students are spending on tests, especially the early childhood, and the tests that they're taking that is state mandated, or the tests that we're taking that are not state mandated. I would like to know also the ultimate goal for these tests that they're taking. So
when you say early child, just so that,
so
the elementary?
Right now, recently, we started even testing kindergarteners and even first graders and second graders.
Yeah, so elementary students. Okay.
The other thing that I'd like to, and this could be for even July meeting, great organizations, they pride themselves, you know, in having a common factor of their success is the happiness or the satisfaction of their employees. So I'd like to know if we do anything at the district that measures that satisfaction, if we do any surveys that with the employees. And I'd like to know if we get that kind of feedback on a regular basis or semi-annual or annual basis.
There was
where
a
the
recent
teachers
one,
were
wasn't there? Yeah.
taking surveys.
Through the advanced ed and through Ms. Farage, we do one on a regular basis.
That's it for me.
Anyone else? All right then, next please.
Future meeting items or dates. Monday, May 20th night, 2019. HFC meeting, 7 p.m. in the Rosenau Boardroom at the Administrative Services and Conference Center at the Henry Ford College. Monday, June 10th, 2019, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Services Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, May 17th, 2019, HFC meeting, 7 p.m. in the Rosenau Boardroom at the Administrative Services and Conference Center at Henry Ford College. And Monday, June 24th, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Services Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom.
We are adjourned.
Yay.
So 2 meetings